Interesting. Abby. Clean. What else have we got in here? Oh, laptop, yeah. Ah, that's where I left it. The Edgun Leshiy coming up. Right there YouTubers, it's Steve here aka Catanonia, and today we're talking about the Edgun Leshiy. Now in this channel we do a whole load of air rifle, air pistol and technology reviews. So if you're not subscribed, you're new here, hit that subscribe button, check out the video library, leave us some comments, and also don't forget to check out our Facebook page, which I'll leave a link down below in the video description. So anyway, today we're talking about the Edgun Leshiy. There's been a lot of comments about this. It's been out for near enough 2 years now. It's now on its second generation, which this is. You can get them in the UK. Obviously they are widely more available in the US and other places. Obviously if it comes into the UK then it has to be modified down to 12 foot-pound. Now what is this? Well, it's gonna have to have its own sort of category of rifle, I think, here. Of survival rifle, because it's not a Springer because it's a PCP, but it behaves like a Springer, the way that you cock it and have to break it to put the pellets in. But it's not like a PCP because you cock it. It's not a takedown rifle, but it's sort of a takedown rifle. It's actually quite unique, so I'm going to put this in a category of survival rifle, which has quite a few implications later on as to is it really worth it. But anyway, let's just move on. Here it is. As you saw straight away with my bit of silliness at the beginning, I'm taking it straight out of a rucksack. Yes, it will fit in a rucksack quite happily. In this format here, it's at 14 inches. That's nothing. 14 inches. If I open it up, it then goes to 25 inches. And at that stage then it's ready to shoot because of basically I have cocked the rifle. It weighs total of 1.4 kilograms. That's 3 pounds or just a shade over 3 pounds. Put a scope on top, yeah, you're looking at 4 pounds and that lot. Now obviously you're going to be limited on the types of scope and everything you can put on there. As I said, this is a single shot PCP. So let's just walk through it. How does it all work? Well, let's start from one end and go to the other end like we always done before. At the back here we have the gauge. This is a 230 bar fill, and that will give you, well, it's given me about 50 shots in 2.2 using 12 foot-pound. Obviously your mileage will vary depending on what power you've got this set at, and obviously what pellets and what caliber you're running. Now you can get this in 177, 2.2 and 2.5. 2.5 is slightly longer barreled on it. And talking about the barrel in here is 250 millimeters. That's 25 centimeters, a very, very short barrel. Anyway, let's go back. So we've got the back over here, we've got a back stock here, butt plate. This is all plastic on here, hardened plastic, and we have a carabiner in here. Useful for that survival, throw it on your backpack while you're out fishing. Yep, we're more on that later. We fill it up at the bottom here, so we have a fill gauge. Just literally just twist it round and there's a fill in there. They actually give you an extremely nice little filling port here that attaches onto your bottle with a standard fill adapter. So there, like we said, that is a 230 bar fill, 60 shots. So we move down here, we have on this back here there's a magnet, and then we have the hinging mechanism. So what I'm going to do is cock this and open it up, and before we do that actually I'll show you where the safety catch is. The safety catch is just here, and it extrudes on both sides. So what happens when you cock it and you put it all the way full to the folded position, it actually pushes the safety catch through the housing and engages it. Like so. So when I push it all the way through, and this magnet will attach to the magnet up here, and it will keep it all nicely closed, and we see that the safety catch has gone through. I can then insert my pellet in here, 2217725 into there. There's no pellet probe or anything, the air cylinder straight here, straight in, and then literally we put it back, push the safety catch back through, and fire off. That's your normal way of storing and loading the weapon. Now if you want, you don't actually have to cock it all the way. Basically you can break it until you hear it click, and sometimes you can hear it click And once you got there, you can hear that click. Now sometimes it'll click here, sometimes it'll click there, sometimes you've got to put it all the way forward. It really does depend. But once it's clicked like so, then you can bring it all the way forward and then you can fire it off. And that way you can just keep doing it until you hear it click. You've got the click on it, there we go. And then you don't have to keep using the safety catch. So that's your general method of firing with it. We move along now, we've got the actual trigger on here. Now this has been replaced by Martin. Thank you to Martin for lending me this rifle, one of my subscribers. On the Gen 2 we have a plastic trigger guard and a single stage trigger. More on that later. We have a Picatinny rail at the bottom here, good for fitting little bipods or torches onto there. And then we have the actual barrel, and we have a Picatinny rail on the top. Obviously you're going to be limited to what rifle scopes you can put on. In the UK, these, if you come through Blackpool, they are regulated and they're fitting humour regulators on them as well. And apart from that, the only other thing to talk about the actual rifle is the absolute sheer beauty of the craftsmanship in this. It's all beautiful, looks like a single CNC piece of aluminium, aircraft grade. It's absolutely a work of art. And then that brings us up to the barrel itself, and we can see that the actual barrel exits at the bottom of this sort of like hexagonal barrel shape, you know, squarey hexagonal barrel shape on there. Now you can, if you want, you can purchase yourself an extra set of baffles and an extra silencer shroud to go onto the front, and basically that will increase the size by about that much more on there. And Martin's got one of those, and it does actually make quite a difference. Now it is a fairly quiet rifle in its own capacity as it is at the moment. It's certainly okay for backyard plinking, but you can get it a lot quieter. Interestingly enough, that the baffles they supply you are metal, whereas the standard baffle in here is a plastic baffle. Interesting. And then that brings us on to one more beautiful little feature about this air rifle, and that is the fact that in the Gen 2, which this is, you can swap out the barrels. Yes, this is quite unique. Basically what we can do is you can then basically cut the rifle like so. You can take off the barrel shroud up here and drop it all out. So I'm just going to do that now. We'll just drop out the barrel shroud. So we'll just take that out. We make sure that we get the O-ring, little O-ring that comes out. We then drop out the plastic one, and then what we need to do is undo these two bolts here. So I'm just going to quickly do that. So I've just dropped those two barrels, those two bolts there. Now literally all I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly ease the barrel out here. Now normally you'd use another barrel to do that, but I've got an Allen key here that's protected up so that I don't do any damage at all. And there's the barrel, and the barrel has dropped out. Now you can replace this 2.2 barrel with a 177 barrel. These go at about, I think, 100 to 110 pounds UK, so it is fairly cheap. Yes, it is only a small barrel. Obviously then you put your new barrel back in, make sure it's nice and flush, and then all we do then is we tighten up the Allen keys at the front, like so. There is no need at this stage also to do a pellet probe, because there is no pellet probe, because basically the pellet and the air cylinder basically meet each other in one place like so. And there we go. And you can see how much difference that silencer made, because I've actually left the baffles out of this one at the moment. So yeah, there's quite a lot of modifications you can do to this. So quite a lot going on here. What we're going to do is we're going to take it outside. We'll give it a go with our normal 25 meters, cue the music. We'll do 5 shots, unsorted pellets, 25 meters, see how we get on, and then we'll come back in for some appraisals, pros and cons, and my thoughts about this rifle, and tell you what I think of it. Okay, so we're back in from outside, and yeah, not too bad at all. Yes, it can hit things. It's not stupidly accurate, but it's accurate enough. Funny enough, actually, I've christened this rifle for Martin. Sorry, Martin, but I got my first pigeon with it, and you've probably seen it on the thumbnail. Lined it all up, nice, picked it out, beautiful. Nice shot in 2-2, took it out, absolutely no problems from about 25 meters. So yeah, very impressed with that. But as with always, what I'll give you is some pros and cons with this. Now I'm going to start off a little bit with this rifle and really sort of like try and address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room with this one is, what is the point of this rifle? Now we've got to remember that I'm in the UK here, and there's certain things we can and we can't do. We can't just go and wander out into the countryside and go and shoot anything we want. Whereas some countries like the grand old United States of America, it is so vast and huge is that you can do that sort of thing. And that's why I would class this rifle as a survival rifle. It's a rifle that you can put in your backpack when you're out in the fields, in the mountains, wherever you guys in America, I'm so jealous of you. You guys can go out there, go fishing for days on end. You've got an air rifle with you, it's in your backpack, and if you want to use it, you need to use it for some squirrels, for some rabbits, for that bit of to put on the campfire, whatever it is. You've got it, it's in your backpack. It's a survival rifle. There's very, very small working parts to this, easy seals, easy things to fix. There's not a lot to go wrong with it. Whereas in the UK, we can't do that sort of thing. Not really, let's put it bluntly. So why would you want something like this in the UK? The bling factor, the fun factor, that it's something new and different for you? Most definitely yes, but you're never realistically going to use it in its true form. So I can see there being a lot of opposition to this type of rifle on both sides of the pond, and obviously you can take that to whichever countries you live in. So yeah, it is what I would call a survival rifle. And because of it is a survival rifle, then you've got to then look at it and think about, what does it mean for the other aspects of what I'm about to say. So let's go on to accuracy. Well, it's not as accurate as a PCP, a full standard PCP rifle. No, nowhere near it. The reason I found with it is it's so small, so narrow, that I just found it difficult to keep online. It was just difficult to fire. I got used to it eventually, yes I did, but it's so small that even the slightest movement on it all, you have to get everything absolutely right with it. So yeah, it's nowhere near as accurate as a PCP, a standard PCP or a magazine fed one. It's not meant to be, it's meant to be a survival rifle. So yeah, definitely with that. Its weight is a beautiful plus side, and the machinery, the looks, the feel, absolutely gorgeous. If you're one of these people that wants to go and spend some money and go and show off, yeah, definitely this is a rifle for you. It's nice to sit up on the wall. I love the craftsmanship in it. There, you can tell a lot of effort's gone into the design of this and how it's been put together. The Gen 2 version, if you get one, get the Gen 2, because that swappable barrel that you saw is brilliant, really is. You know, FX do that as well, but now you've got these guys doing it as well. For £100, I think it is. Prices might vary, but for £100 you can turn this from a 177 into a 22 into a 25. Brilliant, brilliant little feature. I do like that. And it's fairly quiet as well. It's good as a backyard plinker, and especially if you put the additional modifier on it, shroud and baffles on it, then it does make a huge difference. So there's a lot of pluses going for this, especially I'd say if you live in America or countries that allow you to basically just wander around with an air rifle, hunt, etc. Then yes, it is definitely, I can see the point in it. But there are some downsides in it. Okay, and yeah, this is where basically I may get told off and you guys may not agree with me. Number one, it's single shot. Yeah, it is single shot, but you know that when you're buying it, you know you're buying it single shot. But I'm pretty sure Edgun are going to come out with a multi-shot one of these, so literally all you got to do is just cock it and then multi-shot it. But it's single shot, it's a bit of a pain. But the biggest one on here, and definitely I find a problem with, is the cost. You take a look at this. If I saw this, I would think £500–600 maybe. No, £1,100 to £1,200, depending where you get it from, and that's before you get any additional barrels, shrouds and baffles or handles on it. So it is a lot of money. We're seriously encroaching FX impact money there or crown money. Yeah, we're getting close to that. We're talking serious money. You can get a lot of rifle for that sort of price. So yeah, for a takedown rifle in the UK that you're not really going to be able to use as a survival rifle, because we're not allowed to do that sort of thing, for 1,200 quid, you've got to now start thinking about it. In the States, quite possibly, I could see it happening on there. What else is there? The front rail. I don't see the point in it whatsoever. It sort of goes against the survival rifle aspect, is that when you fold the rifle up like so, there is absolutely zero space for the front rail or Picatinis or for your bipods or anything to fit in there. So anything you put on there has to be quick release, which means basically you're going to take it out of your bag, then spend your time putting your quick release bipod on it. No, it's pointless. I don't see the point in it. Maybe a torch on there, a very, very thin one at a stretch, but I really don't see the point in that front rail whatsoever. It sort of goes against it all. But the biggest problem I found with this, and I'm going to be brutally honest, and this is on the Gen 2, I don't know what the Gen 1 is like, but this trigger is awful. You know, when I'm paying £1,200 potentially for a rifle, I expect a good trigger. I expect a good two-stage trigger. Pull it, feel the slack, feel the stop, and then just squeeze and let it go. Not what this is, which is basically a one stage, you can't feel the stop, literally bang, it's gone. And it is horrible. Let me demonstrate. So normally you'd feel the stage, feel it, no, it's gone. And it's just gets you every time. It gets me. I found that when I've been shooting with this, is that I'm thinking, stop thinking about the trigger, stop it, stop thinking about the way that you shoot. Pick it up, aim, squeeze, forget about it. I hate the trigger on this. I do hope they change it all, but unfortunately that's the way the trigger is on this. Unforgivable for me for a rifle this price. Another problem I found with it as well is that when you cock the rifle, it will actually fill with air. You hear it engage and engage the trigger. You can actually see the trigger move when it does it at different points. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's there. This one's now deciding it's not doing it. It's going to do it there. Which means then I do have to take the safety catch off to fire it. But sometimes it will do it here. Sometimes it will do it here. Sometimes it will do it there. It's very there. It did it 3/4 of the way there. It is very, very inconsistent on how it does that, and that does annoy me. It should break and fill and charge itself at the same point every single time. The other problem that I found as well on this is potentially that you're going to get scope restrictions on here. So this is a UTG 3 to 9 30 scope on here, but it is too small. It is too small for this rifle. I would like that scope to be at least up to a 15 zoom on here, but to do that it would require a bigger scope or a more powerful smaller scope, which is going to cost you a lot of money. So it is going to cost to put scopes on there. It's a minor point. A lot of people, you like using 3 to 9s. I think this is too small, and everyone I've shown this to thinks it's too small on here as well. But obviously it's going to cost more money, which adds to the cost of the rifle. And there's also just one final thing, is this plastic trigger guard on here. No, why? Everything's beautiful. Why put a crappy plastic trigger guard on there? That just makes no sense whatsoever. But shooting and firing it, it does shoulder very nice. It's easy to look through, but I just find it so small, and so it reminds me of when you used to get on a little kid's bike, when you used to have your own big bike and your feet are going like that. It sort of reminds me of that when I'm shooting one of these after I've been firing something like a cricket or any other rifle. But overall, would I recommend one of these? No, no I wouldn't. Not in the UK I wouldn't. Not unless you've got money to burn, money to spend, and you do want the latest, then by all means go for it. It's your money, it's your hard-earned money, go for it, have it. But if you're looking for a rifle and you're not sure what to get, no, don't get one of these. You're going to spend a fortune. However, if you're in the States and you're into your survival and you want to go out backpacking for a week in the mountains and be chased by bears and everything all like that, then yeah, quite possibly, if you've got the cash for it. But it is a fantastic rifle, there's no doubting about it. It is a brilliant work of art. The technology that's gone into it, the uniqueness of it is fantastic. It really is. I think maybe it's just a little bit too radical, a little bit too far out there, maybe for the UK. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Like I said, it's a Marmite rifle. Everybody I have shown this to has either hated it or loved it, but then changed their minds. And then when they've played with it, they've gone, yeah, I could do with a bigger scope, or that's not too bad, I like that. Oh, maybe I'll go and look. Like, they've all gone and started researching and looking at them. So yeah, hopefully you like this video. Like I said, I try and keep these reviews as honest as I can. Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Hit some comments down below. Tell me, have you got one of these? Are you thinking of one of these? If not, what would you replace it with? What else would you get instead of one of these? Let me know what you have. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Check out down below the Facebook group that I'll leave. You can leave all your comments in there. Also Patreon, and I will see you on the next video. And don't forget to check these videos out that I'm leaving lying around as well.